Welcome to the Mustang Broncos Coaches Show. I'm the host and voice of the Broncos, Kerry Shuck, joined by head coach of the Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Coach, how are you?
Doing well, man. Good to be back again this week. I've been better, but I'm still doing. No, I'm doing great.
Well, it's going through the game, especially being up in the booth. So it's about magnetized about 400 on your side.
Sure.
But there's ebbs and flows. Like we're sitting there like, oh, that's great, and then like, oh, here we go again. So, and it was an exciting game all the way through the finish.
It was an exciting game. You know, we go into to halftime with the lead, 14-13, and listen, the ebbs and flows of the game, we call it the roller coaster of of a football game. We are still working on trying to learn how to just be even kill regardless of the situation. There are ups and downs in a football game, but we've got to focus on doing our job and doing that to the best of our ability. I call it attitude and effort. You've heard me say that 1,000 times, but we've got to do a better job of just being even through the ups and the downs. Never too high, never too low. That's our message to our kids.
Yeah, and I know going into the game, Norman North is 0-3, but just if you're just looking on paper like, oh, hey, 2-1 team going against 0-3 team, quarterback's very good, running
Absolutely.
back very good, good wide receivers, good defense, and a good line up front. They're still a really good team.
No question about it. Their coaching staff does such a great job, and that's the thing about playing in our league, in our district. At any time, anyone can come out and beat anybody. So we've got to give our very best. We've got to be on top of our game every single week and take advantage of our opportunities that we've been given. And listen, our kids played hard. We did some good things on Friday night. Just came out a little bit short there at the end.
Yeah, and especially going into halftime, 14-13, don't score in the third quarter, but it's just a couple of plays. You're just right there in it, and that shows a lot of maturity. And as you get to the end of the season, these are things to look back on.
Listen, we are going to keep our eyes forward and keep working every single day at trying to just be our very best that day. Some little things hurt us in the game. We had a couple of drops. We had a few penalties.
Yeah.
Those are little moments and little details that go into every single play that can result in the final outcome of the game. So our message is the same, man. We are laying a good foundation. We're going to stand up. We're going to look forward and continue to work our way and fight through a little bit of adversity that we face this week. We've got to come out and be strong on Monday and have a great day of practice and try to win Monday, win Tuesday, win Wednesday, and be really attentive to those little details. If we can just fix a few small things on Friday night, it's a completely different ball game. And listen, our message is, again, it's consistent. We want to be 10% better this week than we were a week ago. So we're just going to continue to work to get better.
And I see it. And one of the things that you brought up, the penalties, I want to talk about that a little bit. In the first half, moving the ball really well, getting things going, and then a couple of holding penalties. It goes from close to a first down, and all of a sudden it's back down 10 yards.
To go from 2nd and 5 to 1st and 25 those are just backbreakers and things that can really hurt and stall a drive. We've got a whole lot of plays in our playbook for 1st and 10 or for 2nd and 5. There's not a lot for those long down and distance situations, and we've got to get better in that area. Penalties really crushed us on Friday night and stole our momentum. We went into the halftime with a lead, but our kids still knew, and our coaches knew, we weren't playing to the best of the fullest of our potential. So it felt like, even at halftime, even though we were up, it felt like we weren't playing very well because we weren't. And but that was kind of the story of the whole game. Again, our kids played hard. I was so proud of the way that our kids fought to the very end. Man, when they hit that last field goal, there with about 2 minutes left, and I think it put us down by 10 points. That our kids could have hung it up right there and decided to hang their heads and pack it in and go home, but they decided, they made a decision internally to just continue to fight and all the way to the very end. And man, we had an opportunity there at the end to come back and win the football game, and the ball just didn't bounce our way a couple times. You think about the onside kick. I think it touched 4 of our kids' hands and it just didn't bounce our way, man. So that's part of football. That's part of the game. As coaches, we want to use every opportunity that we're given, whether that's a win in victory, and the kids are excited, and we want to win that as an opportunity to teach character and life lessons. We want to, in the same way, use a loss, and we're committed to doing that. Use a loss and adversity to teach the same types of lessons about character, and try to help propel our boys forward into manhood, and for the rest of their lives, and even into the rest of this week. So we're excited about that opportunity. Losing on the scoreboard hurts, man, and it's tough, and it's hard on our kids, and it's hard. It's I promise you, hard on our coaches as well. We lose sleep over those things, and but again, we tell our kids all the time, and I've said this multiple times, and it's because I keep saying it's because I really believe what I say I believe. A scoreboard doesn't define who I am as a man. It doesn't define who I am as a coach. It doesn't define who our kids are as football players or young men. Only our character can do that, and we're going to continue to teach that message, and to push that message, and to expect great character, great attitude, great effort, great leadership from the young men in our program, and I know that that's going to pay off in the long run.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Especially, you can see the excitement on the sidelines at certain points in the game. You go down there after the field goal, but I mean, 10, 15, 20 kids maybe are sitting there at the crowd, throwing their arms up, like, get behind us, we're gonna do this, we're gonna come back. And that kind of shows the maturity of, we don't care what the scoreboard says, we're either gonna win this thing or we're gonna die trying.
No question. We call it doing your 111th. Every player in our program has a role. It's not every player's role to run out there and catch the ball, or to run out there in the starting lineup, but even our younger guys, or our guys who don't play as much, they have a role on Friday night, and I'm really proud of that. We've gotten better in that area as the season has progressed, and we're seeing even our young guys understand, man, even though I'm not the one on the field, I have an opportunity to put courage into my teammates by being an encourager, to get our crowd involved, and they're really it just shows you buy-in from our guys. They're really working hard in whatever it is that they do, whether it's being the starter or being the guy on the sideline, that's being an encourager and being engaged in the game. They're giving their very best effort, and I'm really proud of all of our guys for that. That's an important job.
Yeah, it is. It's fun to watch them on the sideline. It's fun to watch all the players on the field too, but just knowing that everybody's bought in and that everybody's focused, because when there's so many kids, on the field, it's not playing that much, you can kind of start looking around, seeing different. I just see everybody looking on the field, engaged in every single play.
We understand that, on Friday nights, it's not about us. It's not a selfish act to go out and play football on a Friday night in front of your community. It's about so much more than us. It's about representing our school the right way, representing our community the right way. Listen, we did that on Friday night. The scoreboard didn't show a win. It was really cool. I got a call from one of our principals today, and they said that one of our lunch ladies had made a cake for the players, and the cake says, "You're our heroes." And I just thought, man, how awesome is that? After a loss, for just an example to our boys that people love them, they support them, they are proud of them when they represent our community, the way our community deserves to be represented. And our boys, I can't wait to give that. They'll get that when they come down to meetings day. I can't wait to give that to them, and just to again continue to push and teach that message that the way we conduct ourselves is just as important as any scoreboard ever. Now, the scoreboard is still important. We've got to play better. We've got to execute better. When you look at the film, man, it makes you sick as a coach just to look at those little moments throughout the course of the game that either there was a lack of execution. Again, we talked about the penalties. There was a drop, there was a missed block, there was a missed tackle, and all of those little things combined to make obviously the final outcome on the scoreboard. But all of those things are so fixable. So it gives us hope for our future and for the rest of the season if our kids can commit to fixing those little things and being more attentive to just the way we approach our practice, just the attention that we give, even if it's just a receiver getting a ball thrown to him in a pass on air drill, the way where our eyes are, where our hands are, the way we tuck the ball with our eyes and nose. all of those little things, if we can continue to get better, those are mistakes that we should fix and shouldn't make in the upcoming week. So that's exciting for us as coaches. It's not a talent issue. It's just Friday night was an execution issue. It wasn't for lack of effort, and honestly wasn't for lack of having a great attitude and playing hard. Ball just didn't bounce our way. We didn't make the plays that we needed to win the game when we had those opportunities. So we're going to be better next week. I know it.
Yeah. Oh, I do too. And I can tell you this, when the way you're talking about with just like little plays, when somebody gets blown out 49 points or something like that, you can see that there's a lot of stuff going wrong. When you lose by 3 points to a team in 6A1, and just you could have had a touchdown, a drop pass, some penalties happen here, maybe a breakdown in defense. Those are just little things that you're just one play away.
Yeah, one play away, and even with all of those mistakes and all of the times that we miss, it's one block that gives us an opportunity to have the difference in going and scoring, or a 3-yard versus a 3-yard gain. Those little things. They're fixable, and that's really exciting.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of the best plays. I thought the offensive line did a good job. I thought the running backs, Kari Brown, I think even Hayden Conrad kind of managed things in a good way, and I thought the defense played pretty well. When I saw the quarterback and the running back for Norman North come in, I thought these are some talented guys.
Yeah,
so keep them at 23
without question. They give Norman North a ton of credit, man. They came out with a great game plan. They really hurt us early in the inside, in between the tackles running game. They gashed us on inside zone a couple of times. Our defense was able to recognize that. Coach Dollar and his staff did a great job of making a minor adjustment, and our players did a great job of just executing. We actually stopped that and shut them down from their best play early in the game, and our defense played really, really well. Was proud of them. Offensively, we had our opportunities. It just felt like at 1 out of the 11 at different points and key moments in the game either had a bust or a mistake or a missed block or a missed catch or a missed throw that kept us from really moving the ball and getting those first downs and putting the points on the board that we needed. So again, we've got to continue to get better and fix those things. But just to go back, to lose by 3 points and really feel like you played not very well or didn't execute the way that we expect to execute, it still it gives us a lot of optimism and a lot of hope that we can correct those mistakes and have a chance to be a really good football team when it's all said and done by the end of the year.
Absolutely. What were some of the outstanding athletes that kind of just stuck out to you throughout the game? I said a lot of names throughout the game, which always shows that there's a lot of people doing something.
Absolutely. Up front, our guys on the defensive line played really well. I thought Corion Hayden had a phenomenal game. Corion is such an athletic guy there at defensive end. He's so strong. He really gives a matchup problem for a lot of teams. Did a good job of coming off the edge, pressuring their quarterback, made some big tackles in the backfield. On the defensive line, Jet Woodward and Josh Stolokoffer played really well. Judson Rowland had a good game on Friday night. Liam Kravanik had a really nice game on Friday night as well. So you're seeing guys that are stepping up and making some really good plays. We've got a young secondary. I thought that a couple of our corners played really well. Wesley Haddix had a good game. Yep. He had a huge pass breakup at one point in the game that he actually got his hands on the ball. I thought he was going to intercept it and take it back to the house, but even just knocking down that pass to get the offense the ball back was a huge play for him. So listen, guys are playing well on the offensive side of the ball. Hayden did some good things. He threw the ball down the field. We had a couple of drops that hurt us, but offensive line is playing hard, and that's what's so tough about looking at penalties, because a lot of times when you see a holding penalty, it's because the guy is having great effort and just doing everything that he can to block that rush in to make time for the quarterback or to open up a hole for our running backs, and it does hurt when it gets called back, but it's hard to fault those guys when their effort is so good. So listen, we had a lot of kids that played well on Friday night. Unfortunately, we had a lot of small, just a guy makes a mistake, that doesn't mean he didn't play well. Mm-hmm. It's just a mistake that we need to correct and move on for next week.
Exactly. And I like how you bring up the offensive line and the defensive line, because they don't get a lot of love. Like you say their names a couple of times. That I know Liam gets a lot of tackles, but it's a lot of times from the disruption that the front line is doing to get him to execute his play.
And I have to say this as well. We had 2 starters that up front that were out. Connor Leeper at left guard, who's one of our best offensive linemen, did not play until late in the fourth quarter. He was questionable for the game. He was not able to practice because of an injury that we weren't sure how serious it was. So we wanted to make sure we took care of him, get a diagnosis, and really make sure we protect his health in practice that week. So Max Godwin actually started, a sophomore at left guard, played a great football game, really aggressive, did some great things. I was so excited for him, looking forward to seeing him in the future. That's a name that you want to remember and look for in the upcoming seasons, because he's going to be an absolute stud on the offensive line for us. Let's see. At right tackle, Micah Davis did not play, and Brevin came in for him and just did a great job at right tackle. Brevin's a senior. Brevin really played well, and listen, don't be surprised if he runs back out there at right tackle again this week. Did a great job of just doing his part, being ready to play when his number was called. That's one of the toughest things in sports, is to be that second team guy that still has to prepare like you're the starter, and when it's your time, your number gets called to go out there and execute. That's Brevin Russell, by the way. I said Brevin. I didn't give you his last name, but Brevin did such a great job of coming in and at that right tackle position and playing hard. So I was really proud of those guys and the night that they had, and excited for them that they got an opportunity to go and get on the field and earn that start and be able to play.
And it's got to be tough. It happens more in football than most other sports because injury is kind of prone to happen in football. Sure. But you do have to be ready when you're coming off that bench. Like how you say they practice like they're the starters, and then it's one play, like, all right, let's go.
No question. And that's a difficult thing to do, and just studying your game plan even when you're not sure that you're going to be the guy that runs out there. But I was really proud of both of those guys. Brevin is just one of our hardest workers that we have, and just did a great job. I was so excited that he got to have that opportunity to play. Another young man that had a great game is junior Devin Martin. Devin had a big touchdown run. Devin has just consistently gotten better every single week. He has really bought into just doing the little things right. And in our meeting after spring practice throughout the summer, that was our message to him. We get a little bit better every day, and you're going to see him start to have an opportunity to get more and more carries, because every time we give the young man the ball, he does something positive with it. So that's exciting for us as well, to see just the improvement in him and so many other of our players.
Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, it's getting as the season's going on, more and more playmakers are coming up, because we know what Harvey can do and we know what Kari can do. Yeah. But then as you throw Devin in and some of these other players, it's like, okay, there's a lot of weapons that are going to start you're going to start utilizing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more kids that can touch the football, and the more we can spread the ball around, the more dangerous that we become. So that's definitely a positive and a plus, and something that we saw that on Friday night that we can build on for sure.
Well, biggest struggles, what to work on. I think you've already touched on almost all of it. Just a couple of missed things, a couple of penalties that need to go your way. But what else do you think you need to work on?
Man, just focusing on us. It's really, there's not a magic formula. Mm-hmm. It's work as hard as you can to the best of your ability. Try to be the best us that we can be. As a head coach, I want to be the best me that I can be, to put our kids in the position to be successful. We've got an opponent coming up this week in Tulsa Union that is traditionally a really, really good football program, but it's not about them. Yeah. It's not about us trying to go and beat Tulsa Union. It's about, on Monday, us competing against us and being the best that we can be. And that's really our message to our kids. We're going to stay consistent. We're going to keep our game plan. We're building our program on a firm foundation, and I don't just believe that. I know that with all of my heart. And we're going to be consistent in what we're doing and continue to push our kids to be the best that they can be every day, in every little detail of the practice, of their position that they play in our team, and then on into their lives, the school, the community as well. And I know that in due time, we're going to reap that harvest. We're not going to grow weary in doing what's right and in doing good. It's not time to panic. 2 weeks ago, man, we were all excited and giddy, and everything was great, and that was after 2 wins in a row, and now we've dropped 2 in a row, but the formula doesn't change. We've got to continue to do what we do, get better every day, and good things are going to happen in our program.
All right, well, I want to touch on some of the things that you guys are doing as a program, and touch on Tulsa Union when we come back after the break. All right, well, we'll see you guys after the break. Come back and talk about Tulsa Union and some things going on with the coaching staff.
Is your home's roof storm damaged? Let TRS Incorporated, the roof specialists, do a free roofing inspection for you. We are the insurance claim specialists, and we can handle everything from meeting your adjuster to securing final payment from your insurance company. All of our outstandingly beautiful roofs come with a 5-year guarantee, and you'll pay nothing until the job is complete. Visit 682roof.com to find out more.
I'm Rick Hines, owner of TRS Incorporated. Let us come out and show you why we are the roof specialists.
Hey, 6th to 12th graders. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're into. If you're looking for a place to connect, if you're looking for answers, if you're in need of some encouragement or just looking for a friend, come on over and join us at First Baptist Mustang on Wednesdays at 6:30. We're a place for you.
Get low prices every day at Spickless Chevrolet. If you wanna rock a Chevy, got 500 new and used, like Camaro, Silverado, Chevy, Malibu, and Cruise. Bad credit, you can still buy. 50 lenders standing by. Hit up that Spickless Chevy app and search right from your phone, or head to Northwest Expressway and County Line Road. Get low prices every day at Spickless Chevrolet. SpicklessChevrolet.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mustang Coaches Show. Kerry Shuck with head football coach Lee Blankenship. Coach, there's one thing that I've noticed after each of the home games that you do, win or loss, you bring the team down into the end zone. You'll kind of give them a talk about, and then they acknowledge the band for how hard they've worked throughout the game and everything. Not a lot of coaches do that. It's awesome to see.
Well, listen, again, the scoreboard doesn't define who we are. It doesn't change the respect that we're going to show to others. It doesn't change our routine of what we're going to do after the game. We've got some young people in our school district that are not on our football program, but that work so hard inside of their own programs, and it's really important to me and our coaching staff and our football players as well to acknowledge them. So yeah, that's a special thing, man. It's a cool tradition to be able to go down and sing our fight song with the band, and I love to have some closing words for our kids, or just some first observations from the football game right there. Man, our band does such a phenomenal job, and they work so hard, and they've been so good and welcoming. Mr. Edgman, with me, he was first teacher at the school that he came the first time we met, and he had a little coffee cup mug for me, and I just thought that was so cool. But we have a great partnership. We're actually going to take our football team to the band competition. There's a band competition this Saturday, and it's here at Mustang, and we're going to be in the bleachers when our band performs to try to support them and let them know how thankful we are of them and their support for us, and we want to show that to them as well. So that's important to me. That's a cool tradition, and listen, on Friday I kind of just spoke to our kids briefly right after the game. It's hard to go and sing your fight song after a loss, but again, our message is the score does not define us. Winning a game does not make you a good person, and losing one doesn't make you a bad person. So we're going to be consistent. We're going to be respectful. We're going to love others as much as we love ourselves, regardless of the adversity that we're feeling or the emotions that we're feeling after a game. We can't be emotion driven in football, especially. It's not when you let your emotions get the better of you, then you lose focus on the things that you can control. That's your attitude and effort. So I briefly spoke to our kids, and it honestly, it probably wasn't even needed. They were over there and and singing. But I told them, take your helmets off, put them in the air. You look at your band and smile. And our POM and our cheerleaders are there as well. Our student section is right there. And be proud of who you are and where you come from. Thank God you play for Mustang. And listen, we're going to go back to work and get better this week and continue to do what we do and go out and try to represent Mustang the right way again next week. That was my message, and then we sang our school song. But yeah, that's cool that you noticed. I appreciate you bringing that up, and obviously gives me an opportunity just to say thank you to our band and our cheerleaders and our POM squad. I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job, and we really are thankful for you.
I think one thing, announcing a lot of the sports on campus, I'm blown away, and I told Robert Foreman this the other night at a volleyball game. The softball, baseball team, wrestling, basketball, they just show up to these events sometimes, and they just take over the student section, and you think, well, wrestlers probably have to get ready for their season. You know, baseball players are probably doing something. Football players are going to the band event. You know, that might be a Saturday they want to do stuff. But you guys are, as coaches, I'm sure, are able to get these kids on the same page as like, this is our school, this is what we're going to represent, and this is who we're going to honor.
Without question. There's a hashtag that is really important to me, and I wanted to be a part of that when I came here, and just letting all of the coaches in our school know. And listen, we're not perfect. We can't be at every event, and especially during our season trying to get ready. And even though we want to, we've got to do our due diligence and make sure our kids are prepared to play. But the hashtag is We Are Mustang, and what that means, it's not the football team is Mustang, it's not Coach Blankenship is Mustang, it's not the quarterback is Mustang or the linebacker. It's all of us. It's our band. It's our cheer and POM, our softball team, our volleyball team, our basketball teams. It's not even just our athletics department. It's this media department. We've got some kids here that do a phenomenal job every week, got a smile on their face and working these cameras behind. I just think this is one of the coolest things for them to get to be a part of. I'm sure we'll see some of them on TV one day or at least working a camera and off to a great career. So that's what makes this place so special. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about our football program. We're not Mustang. We're a small part of what makes Mustang so great. So I know it's really important. Coach Foreman does such a great job. I still call him Coach. He's a basketball coach. Mr. Foreman does such a great job of instilling that in our coaches and honestly demanding and expecting that. And that is perfectly aligned with what I believe as well. One of our core values in our football program is to love others as much as we love ourselves, and we want to teach our kids that. And I'm so thankful to be in a school district in an athletics department that believes in that, wants to teach their kids and our student athletes that it's important to take time to do for others just as much as it is to just think about yourself. So that's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so with a team, Owasso beating Tulsa Union 1-3, tough season they've had so far. We talked about before the show, but 1-3 is nothing here in 6A1.
Without question. Tulsa Union, week 0, they had a game against a really tough opponent from at a high school in Texas. That game went to the wire. They have played Broken Arrow. They got beat in a hard-fought game against Broken Arrow, the defending state champions. Another really solid 6A1 football team for this season. They had a hard-fought battle with their rival Jinx, in which they came out on top of that. But listen, it was a really hard-fought game and a tough game on their schedule. And then, like you said, last week they go to Owasso and get beat by a really good Owasso team. So their record is certainly not an indicator of what type of football team they are. They are very well coached. Coach Frederick and his staff do such a phenomenal job in just getting their kids ready to play. The tradition that they have inside of their program is really special. Their kids really believe that when they take the field, they're going to win the game. Mm-hmm. And so we've got our work cut out for us. It can be intimidating to go to their school and play at their field, which is where we play at Union this week, to see that their facilities, which are some of the best maybe in the country in terms of high school football facilities and stadium and press box and end zone facility, and it's really easy. And honestly, I believe that happens all the time. Teams go over and go to Union and they look at everything that they have and they see that U on the side of their helmet, and some teams lose their focus on what what they can control. We can't control that. We'll play Tulsa Union in a cow pasture if that's where the game is at. But we're not going to focus on those things. We've got to keep our focus on being the best us that we can be. And it gets kind of boring. It almost sounds like coach talk, but we really believe that it's not about Union. It really has little to do with our opponent. Our coaching staff is going to get our kids in the best positions to be successful. Obviously, we're breaking down film and working. We work 7 days a week and trying to get our kids ready to play, understand how we can give ourselves numbers advantage and gaps advantages, and put our kids in the best position to play. For our kids, it's just got to be about us doing my 111th as a player, focusing on having great attitude and effort all the way to the whistle, and that's our message to our kids this week.
I remember my first season of doing this a couple of years ago when we went to Union the first time. I was going to do the halftime radio show with Chris Neiman, the radio announcer, and I remember I'm sitting in there and he's just kind of going through, and he says, well, I think if you're a male in the Tulsa Union District, you're probably sitting on the sidelines because there's like 200 people suited out, and I thought, man, there are a lot of people. So it can be intimidating for some people, but like you had said earlier in the show, if you just kind of look at Hayden Conrad is looking at this play, and doesn't even think about who he's playing, then you shouldn't have any trouble.
When we focus on things that we can't control, then we lose focus on what we can control. And it seems like a simple idea, but it's actually really hard to enact. It's a lot of times, listen, we can't control, we tell our kids, can't control if the official makes a bad call. So don't focus on that. Focus on having a great attitude, giving your very best effort on the next play. Can't control if Tulsa Union's got really nice facilities. We shouldn't focus on that. Focus on your attitude, make that great, give great effort in the football game. Can't control if we lost last week. There are so many things in the course of a football game, and that carries on over into life as well, that we can't control. So if you can't control it, let's not focus on it, because that can, when you focus on things you can't control, that can cause your attitude or your effort to not be as good as they need to be. So we're going to focus on us, and it's not about them, it's about us this week and being the very best Mustang Bronco team that we can be.
On both sides of the ball, especially even with Union, who are some athletes that you guys are looking at to watch, and especially on that Mustang side too?
Man, this week versus Union, there's a lot of them. Their running back is really, really solid. They have a very good quarterback. I believe he transferred to Union from Coweta a year ago, so I actually got to see him on film a little bit. I was at a scrimmage when he was the quarterback at Coweta. Got a great arm, really sharp kid, good size, runs well. Him combined with that running back in the backfield that can definitely create matchup problems for teams. They're big and strong at receiver. They've got really talented players that can go up and get the ball. Their offensive line is huge. I mean, there's when you look at a team like Union, you don't just see a lot of weaknesses, and there are a lot of guys that you can point out and say, man, he's good. Oh man, he's good, and he's a player that we need to watch. We're going to know where number 9 is on the defensive line. That's where, forgive me, I can't tell you his name. We usually just look at numbers when we're looking at film and preparing for kids, but they'll line him up in some different locations. He'll play a lot of defensive end, really fast, really athletic, very strong. We need to know where he's at, and our game plan will involve seeing where he's at and trying to use his strengths against him, to be honest. So their secondary is very strong. They've got a good linebacking core as well. I mean, they're a solid football team. They play hard. They play to the whistle. So we've definitely got to bring our best game on Friday night.
Oh, wow. And then especially with Mustang, what are you guys looking at? Don't give away a game plan or anything, but probably some of the key components that you've used before. Are there anything else we're going to see differently?
Listen, we want to be balanced. We spent the first 3 weeks of the season honestly creating some tendencies for when we can get into the heart of our district play. So you'll see us break some tendencies, some things that we might have done in terms of running the football or throwing the football on certain down and distances. You can expect us to break some of those this week without giving up too much of the game plan. We'll have some wrinkles for them. Mainly going to continue to do what we do. Maybe just give them a little bit different look in doing that.
All right. Well, this Wednesday coming up, Mazzio's Ryan Booth. I'm going to try to get out there. This is the week I'm going to try to get out.
Very nice.
Because I want to come out there and check it out. But I've heard it's a lot of people there and a really exciting atmosphere.
It's a cool atmosphere, man. That is an awesome tradition that we started. Ryan does such a great job. We include some of our youth football teams and coaches in that. Last week, Millie Cooper, our cheer coach, got to come on the radio and talk about the great stuff that their girls are doing. So it's a fun time. We get a lot of players, a lot of families of players there, and Mazio's does such a great job of just being hospitable, and they opened up the buffet for us, and everybody just kind of eats together and listens to the show. It's a really cool time. So we'd definitely encourage anyone to come out and join us on Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. at Mazio's.
Awesome. Well, definitely going to try to make it out there this week, Coach. Since week 1, I've seen this team take leaps and bounds. Doesn't matter if it's a loss or anything like that, or if it's a win over UConn or Santa Fe. They're showing a lot of focus, and I think this is going to be a good season the rest of the way.
We're excited about the season. Listen, there are just like in anything, there are a lot of things that we can get better at. But if there weren't, then the kids wouldn't need us for anything anyway. So we're going to continue to work to fix the things that we need to improve on. But I have been really proud of our kids. Their effort has been there. Their attitude's been great, and I really love our boys, man. It's been an honor to have a chance to get to know and over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, get to know our seniors and just to build those relationships with them, to see them buy into the message that we are really trying to and are hoping that they'll understand and receive, and to watch them do that has been special, and I know it's going to pay off for them in the long run.
All right, well, Coach, we're excited. Everybody get to Union this Friday. Go cheer on your Broncos. Bring a packed house. Help us out there.
Absolutely.
And Coach, I can't wait to talk to you next Monday. We'll talk about the game and talk about the next upcoming game after that.
Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thank you guys for joining us today on the Mustang Coaches Show. I'm Kerry Shook with Lee Blankenship, and we'll see you next week.
Go Broncos.